very warm welcome on Canal English. Good evening. I am Elie Smith. First, the headlines. The regional capital of the Northwest has known series of demonstrations this couple of weeks. It was first the lawyers, then disgruntled Anglophones. Now, it is the turn of the Social Democratic Front Party that has descended to the governorate. Why? More in this newscast. Senegalese fourth democratically elected president is in Cameroon for an official visit. Mr. Macky Sall will be here for a 24-hour brief visit. And the man who brewed a popularly local drink known as Odontol that has brought sadness in several families in the east region of Cameroon has been arrested. Those were the headlines. We begin our news today going directly to the Northwest Regional Capital, Bamenda. The Social Democratic Front, members of parliament, senators, and mayors met today with the governor of the Northwest region, Mr. Elie Smith. They were led by John Frundi. Our correspondent Annie Collins tells us. The SDF senators, MPs and mayors denounce what they say is the continuous brutality on the citizens whenever they come out to exercise one of the fundamental rights in a democratic context by spraying them with tear gas and firing live bullets, some of which fell in the residence of John Frundi. In response to the catalogs of complaints, the governor of the Northwest region, Adolphe Elie Smith, denied that any administrative officials had ordered soldiers to open fire. Our correspondent had it that after a long and tortuous conversation with the angry politicians, they later met indoors with the governor of the Northwest region for a private conversation. And in continuation of their action, all SDF senators, members of parliament, mayors made it to the grandstand. That is what turned out to be an SDF rally in Bamenda at the Commercial Avenue. There, the large crowd was addressed by John Frundi. And in that meeting at the Commercial Avenue of Bamenda, it turned out to be one of the biggest recently organized SDF rally there in the regional capital, and where speakers after speaker who climbed the rostrum expressed, be they Anglophones or Francophones, said the only solution to the ongoing crisis rocking the Northwest and Southwest region is a return to the federal nature of our country as it were after 1961. More will be brought to you in our subsequent newscast, that is precisely tomorrow at 1 with Annette Ifeti Esome. We are going to stay still in the Anglophone or the English-speaking regions of Cameroon, and this time around we'll be going down south, the regional capital of the Southwest province, that is Buea. Unconfirmed report has it that in Buea, troops opened fire on striking University of Buea students. The reason for the strike action, unlike that of Bamenda, is that students are demanding the payment of 50,000 CFA francs to third-year students, which was a presidential grant, or the grant from the President of the Republic, Paul Biya. However, prior to the strike that is rocking Buea today, university authorities, it is reported, had earlier issued a statement explaining the reason why the presidential grant which has become a bone of contention in the regional capital of Buea, had not been paid to the deserving student. We still have information coming us from Buea, yet not confirmed, that the strike, which was supposedly going to be calm, had turned violent. And also that we also hear that armies or soldiers have started ransacking the hostels of students precisely at Moliko. And we also have one unconfirmed report, which we think by tomorrow, during our 1 p.m. newscast, Annette Ifetie-Some might bring us some precision that one University of Buea student is reportedly to have been raped by a soldier. We are leaving the Anglophone-speaking regions of Cameroon, and we still stay in the coastal part, that is here in Douala. Trade unionists have gone on the offensive against precarious jobs. They met the press this morning to condemn precarious jobs in Cameroon, whose percentage, they say, stands at 80. Kejang Henry Atembe was there and brought back this report. Anyway, I am being told that that report of the trade unionists who are denouncing the precarious jobs in Cameroon, which is a global trend, is not yet ready, but we think it is going to be ready during our subsequent newscast, and that is going to be tomorrow. That's the reason why, one more reason why you should stay glued on Canal English. And we go back to the capital, that is Yaoundé, where Senegal's President Macky Sall is in Cameroon. He has met already with Cameroon's presidential couple, Chantal Biya and Paul Biya, and during a state banquet organized in honor of the West African visitor, the guest, that is Macky Sall, praised the extraordinary relationship that has existed or that exists between those two West African countries. Macky Sall, on arrival in Yaoundé from Antananarivo in Madagascar, was received at the Yaoundé Simaleng Airport by Prime Minister Philemon Yang. For more, we go to Yaoundé with Beatrice Ngamo. And Beatrice Ngamo's report is not yet ready, but we may want to remind you that the Senegalese leader has already left Cameroon to Dakar. On another story, some German and Cameroon experts specialized in company management are in Cameroon to train the managerial staff on entrepreneurial management. The seminar, which will take place on Wednesday, the 30th of November, is placed under the theme, Handling Continuity. Christelle Catala.
These two trainers have just arrived Cameroon from Germany to train Cameroon managerial staff on systematic development of competence. The seminar, which begins on Wednesday, November 30, is placed under the theme Handle Continuity in Companies. We chose this topic because we are from the Ganverbuke Academic in Germany. We have been asking ourselves for so many years which team could be used to begin our seminar in Cameroon. We've noticed that one of the biggest problems in Cameroon is to handle continuity. You know very well, when our leaders die, the enterprises die with them. So we want to change things. There are companies which have made 400 to 500 years in Germany. Why not in Cameroon? During the seminar, family businesses will be drilled on how to develop their competence. We are inviting you at GCAM on the 30th of November for this seminar under the theme Handle Continuity, and it's also important in Cameroon as in Germany. The training intends to consolidate cooperation ties between Cameroon and Germany.
Well, from the littoral province, we now take you to the far north, that is Marua, where we take you to the B base in Marua, that's a Rapid Intervention Brigade, where samples of weapons and other materials were on display. Our reporter Beatrice Ngamo has this that the types of weapons and materials seized from the radical Islamic-oriented sect Boko Haram was on display for people to see the effectiveness of our army. The images are courtesy Andre Marie Njia.
The B station in the far north region of Cameroon, Maroa, is filled with equipment and weapons seized from the enemy, the Boko Haram terrorist group, fruits of many victorious battles from captured zones, hideouts amongst many. Armaments of all kinds, size and caliber, the 60 to 6 range, easy to carry around, especially for foot infantry, the 12-7 caliber, Chinese and American versions. This alongside the different ammunitions. Tripods that carry the guns in car, ready for action. The PKM guns for those on guard, light arms for fighting. Here also are rifles, Kalashnikov, locally fabricated and craft guns, revolvers, charging boxes amongst many. These are only samples of what they are having at their station. Like the armaments are also explosives. Extinguishers are used like containers for explosives made from ammonium fertilizers, which they set in cars and as mines. The Boko Haram flag, which they erect wherever they are, alongside their dressings, are also on display. Clothes with different grades, uniforms seized from the Nigerian Army, the Air Force beret, shoes and jackets. Shovels, axes and other they used to dig holes to plant the explosives. Batteries and generators, constant power supply for their equipment and phones. Seized also are bags of Indian hemp and other narcotics which they sure consume on a daily basis. This was at Kerawa village. With Quranic books and others, they spread their doctrine, this through the use of speakers and sound equipment. As officials of the military put it, they have gone a long way and they will continue until this fight is over.
That we have to commend our soldiers, or the elite wing, that is the brigade, the Rapid Intervention Brigade, for that. Weeks after his product took away the lives of some 27 people in the east region of Cameroon, the presumed vendor of Odontol, that is a locally brewed liquor known as Odontol, has finally been nabbed. Paul Elie is presently in custody at the Betois Gendarmerie cell for inquiries. For more, Kejang Henry Atembe.
The man responsible for the death of some 27 people in Betois through a badly distilled spirit has been arrested. Paul Elie was nabbed by the Betois Gendarmerie with drums of the killer spirit popularly known as Odontol. The very high alcoholic substance is reported to have come from dwellers supplied by a man called Dieudonné Delacour, who works with a company known as Family Land situated in Bepanda. A good quantity of the killer Odontol has been forwarded to the Yaoundé Centre Pasteur for a diagnosis. In the meantime, the presumed vendor of the killer Odontol is napping in the Betois Gendarmerie cell.
Well, from one story to another, the United Nations Working Group on Arbitrary Detention has asked the Cameroon government to pay Paul Eric Kinge about 7 billion CFA francs as compensation for what is called the unlawful detention of the former mayor of Njombe Penja Council in the Mongo division. In the following report, Ntarike says the 7 billion is for compensation is lower than the 23 billion francs initially demanded by the lawyers of Eric Kinge.
The United Nations Working Group on Arbitrary Detention has ordered the state of Cameroon to pay Paul Eric Kinge 7 billion CFA francs as reimbursement for illegally incarcerating the former CPDM mayor for close to 8 years. A November 26 notification served the Cameroon government indicates the verdict cannot be appealed and instructs the government to make good the payment within 180 days. Paul Eric Kinge, former mayor of the Njombe Penja Council in the Littoral region, was arrested in 2008 and charged with fomenting anti-government protests against unbearable costs of living. In March 2011, he was served a 3-year jail term for embezzling 1.4 million CFA francs, a sentence which was later prolonged to a life imprisonment by the Vuri High Court in Douala. Kinge always contested his conviction, claiming it was politically motivated after accused French banana multinationals installed in the Mungo division of tax dodging, land grabbing, and the subjection of plantation laborers to deplorable working conditions. Following his release in 2015, Kinge claimed 23 billion CFA francs from the state of Cameroon as compensation for his unlawful incarceration, an amount which has witnessed a significant cut, but which all the same is saluted by human rights defenders nationwide as victory for justice.
And in sports, the 4 national selections qualified for the semi-finals of the ongoing 2016 Women's Africa Cup of Nations are bracing up for the crucial encounter tomorrow, while Cameroon's indomitable Lionesses will face the Black Queens of Ghana. Favorites, the Super Falcon of Nigeria, will clash with the Bayana of South Africa. For more, Divine Tarike.
Hosts Cameroon, Ghana, South Africa, and Nigeria are crossing the T's and dotting the I's as they gear up for tomorrow's semi-finals in the ongoing 10th edition of the Women's Africa Cup of Nations. Cameroon confront Ghana in Yaoundé Tuesday, while Nigeria lock horns with South Africa in Limbe. Winners from the fixtures will clash in the tourney final in Yaoundé on December 3. Cameroon's indomitable Lionesses emerged top of Group A Friday with a 2-0 win over Zimbabwe. The Cameroonian ladies set a record as the only contender in the tournament to emerge from the group stages with a clean sheet of 3 victories in as many games with no goal conceded. Elsewhere, South Africa's Bayana bounced back from adversity, waving goodbye to Egypt with an emphatic 5-0 whipping. In Group B, tournament favorites and defending champions, the Super Falcons of Nigeria maintained their grip on the steering wheel with a 4-0 dismissal of Kenya's Harambee Starlets as Mali, in short supply of experience, surrendered 1-3 to Ghana.
Well, that was all we were able to put together today, Monday, the 28th day of November 2016. But please, tomorrow you'll be having the X1 interview with the Secretary General of the oldest political party of Cameroon, that is Mr. Robert Mbapo, who of the Secretary General of the UPC. That will be on 1 p.m. news because he took part at the rally that took place in Bamenda to show that the problem that takes place in Anglophone Cameroon is not uniquely an Anglophone problem, but a national one. From all of us here today to all of you, have a nice day or nice evening. Tomorrow, God willing,